Hi guys, so it's Wednesday 16th of March and I'm actually today going to get some seeds planted. I didn't want to take too long on this video showing you all the preparation, so I've got all my pots filled, got all the labels written, got my setup over there with my cold frame and the paraffin heater to keep the heating during the night. I was going to finish my coppicing today, but it's pouring with rain, so I decided to get my seeds started. What I'm doing, so I wanted to test my homemade compost for seed sowing, just to see whether it's too rich or whether it works okay. So I've sieved a small amount of compost. I'm just going to do trials. So like I've got these two half trays for some salad crops. I've got some mixed leaf lettuce. I'm going to do a tray of my homemade and a tray of normal multi-purpose. My homemade compost sieved doesn't look too bad. You know, it's quite a bit more fibrous than what you'll buy. I don't necessarily think that's a problem. I think it's going to hold the moisture a bit better. It's just whether it's too rich. As a gardener, I do get a lot of grass cuttings, but then I did mix the grass cuttings as much as I could, 50-50 with wood chip, cardboard, newspapers, any sort of browns I could get. And I'm quite happy with the way it's turned out. So I just want to do a trial. So I'm doing 2 trays of broad beans. So I've done 1 tray normal compost, 1 tray of my own, and on all the other trays I've done the outside 2 rows of pots of normal compost and just 1 of my own in the middle. So the trays I'm using, I know it's quite sort of fashionable these days to use the module trays. I don't particularly want to buy any more plastic. I've got so many pots I've saved from jobs as a gardener. I've got thousands. Years ago I started a little wildflower business. Never actually went online with it, but I just started growing a lot of wildflowers. I ended up planting them out on my own holding here. But I bought 6,000 of these little 7cm pots and trays. 6,000 of them I got. So I'm not going to buy any more plastic. You know, I've got enough to last me a lifetime. So this is what I've got. This is what I'm going to use. You know, they're not a bad size. They're a bit bigger than you'd use in the module trays, but it is what it is. And I'm just going to use what I've got. I'm not going to buy any more plastic. So first thing that's going in is broad bean. These are Bunyard's exhibition. I tend to forget what I bought, and I ended up buying 3 packs of these. I didn't realise I bought them, and I went out a couple of times and I've just checked my tin, and I've got 3 packs, so I've got plenty of spares should I need to, or for second sowings. If I want to get second sowing in a couple of weeks or something, I can do that as well. But I'm just going to pop these on the pots. Like I said, I don't want this to be too long a video. Just give you a quick idea of what I'm doing here. So these want to be about 2 inches deep. I was going to use, I've got some tree trainer trays that I grow my cuttings in. I was going to use those, but I'll try these, see how they do. So I'm just going to push them down with a finger, a couple of inches. And then just when they're in, I'll just give them a cover over with some compost. There should be enough there on top just to fill in. It's not rocket science. You don't have to be too exact about it. Just get them in and then just pinch the top back over. And I'll give these all a water before I put them in the cold frame. That's it. So that's 2 trays of broad beans. I'll set these down here, and then I'll give them all the water before I put them in the heated cold frame. So let's get the salad crops on. That's the broad beans. Like I say, I've done all the labels already. I didn't want to waste minutes and minutes on this video showing you me writing labels. That's kind of pointless. So this is some salad bowl red and green mixed lettuce. I've got a few different types, but because I like the different coloured leaves, I thought I'd just do 2 trays of these. I've got some cos lettuce that I'm going to get going at another point. So I'm just going to put a little sprinkle. I don't want too many, you know, this is just for me. I'm not a market gardener or anything. So I don't want to do hundreds and hundreds because I just won't use them in time. It's fine if there's a few too many because they can all go on the compost and to the chickens. Nothing gets wasted. So I'll do just a little sprinkle on each. I'm not going to bother labelling these because I know what they are. They're the only things in the half trays. So a little bit of the multi-purpose just sprinkled over the top. That's the brought in multi-purpose. Most little seeds, so I'm doing some summer purple sprouting broccoli, which you harvest in the same year that you plant it. Some purple broccoli you grow through the summer and you harvest from the spring. This one is a fast grower and you harvest from in the same summer that you sow it. I've got some of the microphone's just fallen off. Get that back on. Yeah, I've got some other purple sprouting broccoli that I will grow and will be for harvesting in the spring, sort of early summer through the spring and that. I'm going to get some early stuff in today, so that's the 2 salad trays done. My polytunnel does get a lot of condensation and I'm getting the odd drip on my head. Right, so this one is Brussel Sprout Bedford. So that's that one. This is one I grew a couple of years ago, but the seed's good till 23, and I keep all my seed in tins, so just old biscuit tins. Got all sorts of different things in there, which I'll do other videos on when I'm growing them next month. But I keep all my seeds in tins and I keep them in a fridge in my garage at home, probably about 3 or 4 degrees, something like that. I hope the rain isn't too noisy. So with all sort of brassica sprout seedlings, seeds of this size, most things say, I expect this probably says the same, yeah, about 1/2 inch. So what I do is I'm just going to do a little divot with my finger as I'm getting dripped on my head here. Little divot in the middle with my finger. I'm not going to worry about sowing 2 seeds and thinning or anything. I don't need a lot of plants. So I literally am going to put just one seed per pot. I can always pop another one in if I need to, if it doesn't come, but they're pretty good usually. Getting dripped on here. And just fold your seed packets up nice and tight, and they should be okay for the following year. So that's a tray of Bedford sprouts. Then we've got the other sprout I'm doing. This is one I haven't done before. This is called Evesham Special. So it's good to try different things, you know. I've done various bits and bobs in the past, never kept much of a note of what I've done. but I'm going to keep a diary going forward of what I've tried, different methods I've tried of growing things, different crops, different seeds, and that way you learn. You always get a seed stuck in the corner. I don't like to waste any. Yeah, got him out. Yeah, that way you know, if you keep a diary, you learn to know what works. You learn to know what crops you like, what works in your garden and what tastes better. So you can pick your favourites. Again, I'm just putting one per pot. Bought me glasses, really. I've got reading glasses. Part of getting old. Seal it up tight. And just cover them over. So it'd be interesting to see. I'm quite looking forward to seeing whether my homemade compost is actually any good or not. It may, it could be a bit strong for seed sowing. I don't know. I am making leaf mold, but that's going to take sort of 18 months to really sort of be ready. So this is the summer broccoli. It's just called Sprouting Summer Purple. So we'll give that a go. I think I did this. One of these summer ones, I'm sure I did them a couple of years ago next to my potatoes, and I'm sure that I left them in the ground, and even though they're meant for picking through the summer, I'm sure I had some come back in the spring as well. They were a bit hammered by caterpillars, but I'm sure I remember picking it in the spring. So I think you probably can leave it in, but I'll give it a go. I'll see how it crops through the summer and see how it looks going into the winter, and I'll give it a go. Woo! Dry my finger. I do love me broccoli. We eat tons of broccoli, and everything's getting more expensive. A head of broccoli, I think it was about 40p last year. It's about 70, 80p now. It's ridiculous. So growing your own veg, you can't beat it really. Everything's getting more expensive. You don't, I know not everyone's got this amount of land. You don't need this amount of land. You can grow stuff in pots. If you just got a little back garden, make a bit of room in your borders. I think veg can look just as pretty as flowers in a way, and you can eat it. So it's just make a bit of room if you can. But if not, try and fit some grow bags onto your patio, grow some tomatoes, something like that. Just give it a go. Right, what's next? So I'm doing 2 trays of onions. That's cabbage. I'm going to do 2 trays of onions. I did get some onion sets and a tray of leeks. I did get some onion sets just because I saw some fairly cheap. I think it was outside B&Q. I think I've got some red onions, and I've got some winter onion sets which I put in the autumn. So here I'm doing some cabbage, but I'm not doing a lot of them. I'm going to do 1 tray of cabbage, but I've got 2 types. So I've got some greyhound, which I've grown before. It's quite a quick one, just a basic sort of green cabbage. And then I've got some red drumhead, for some red cabbage. Never grown that before, but we're going to give it a go. So with my cabbage, so part of my smallholding quest, so to speak, to be more self-sufficient, I'm having to look at ways of preserving food. So I've got other videos planned. I'm actually quite enjoying doing this YouTubing. It's making me do all the things that I sort of had planned in my head in the old noggin, but I've never really sort of got round to doing. I'm now thinking, oh, I can make a video of that. I can make a video of that. I'm probably annoying the hell out of my wife because she does all the editing for me. I'm actually really enjoying it. So yeah, with the cabbage, I bought myself a sauerkraut fermenting crock. It got it imported from Germany. It was £57, which I don't think was a bad price. It's handmade, and it's basically an earthenware pot with a water seal on top, so you fill the top with water, kind of like if you're making wine, you'd use a demijohn with a water seal. So you shred your cabbage. I bought myself a mandolin, one of those shredders, shred it nice and fine, and you put it into your brine. But if you pummel the cabbage first, and you'll pretty much get enough water come out of the cabbage. But yeah, so anyway, I've got my first little batch going with just some shop bought cabbage because I didn't have any of my own obviously yet, and I've got that going. I will be doing videos on how to do that once I've kind of mastered it myself. And another thing I've got ordered is a canner. So pressure canning is obviously very popular in America, not so much here in the UK. But I've ordered myself, it's quite an expense. Order jars, I've ordered a pressure canner from America, just waiting for that to arrive. All the jars have come, a little sort of accessory pack with all the bits and bobs. That's come. A few other bits, I had to buy myself a separate little cooking hob because the pressure canner is too big to go on our electric hob, and there's a little ridge on the side of our cooker so it wouldn't sit right, so I had to buy a little separate hob, which is actually probably a good thing because I can then do it all on the big dining room table. But yeah, so I'm going to try and get into pressure canning with vegetables, and too many of those in my hand by a long way. Something I've never done before, but I'm looking forward to doing, and again I will do videos on that because I think it's quite an interesting thing. I think in the old days in this country they called it water bathing. It's a way you do jams and things. It wasn't so much the pressure canning. That's much more of an American thing. But so what I've done is I've just done half and half greyhound, red drum, so that I can have a bit of mixed cabbage to make sauerkraut with. And sauerkraut, all this fermented veg, is so good for your gut health. You know, healthy gut, healthy mind, they say, or healthy body. It's really, really good for you. And I want to get more into that sort of thing going forward. I'm getting older, got to keep myself healthy. Right, so we've got 3 trays left to go. That's 1 tray of leeks. So the leeks I'm doing, I've done a few leeks over the years, but the ones that I have, just check my mic's still on. Yeah. The one I've had the most success with is Musselburgh. Just seems to be a good all-rounder. So that's the one I'm sticking with again this year. And these leeks I will multi-sow. I'm going to put 3 or 4 in here. And the same with the onions, I'm going to multi-sow those. Just gives you a bit more harvest in the same area they grow as a bunch. You know, each one won't necessarily be quite as big as if you grew individuals, but you just tend to get more cropping in the area that you got. So I'm just going to put 3 or 4. If a couple of extra fall in, I'm not too worried. I can always thin them a little bit once they're up. And these will just grow as a clump. And the thing with leeks is, I've seen people cutting their leeks. I watch a lot of sort of food preparation stuff on YouTube and preserving and that. But you can use most of the green, you know. A lot of people just cut the green off and stick it in the bin. You can't, it's not just the white bit you eat. Eat the green stuff too, you know. Don't waste any of it. Just trim the actual leafy bits at the top off, then you can eat all the green stem. I do love a leek. So actually, this is, you know, once you've got your preparation done, sowing seeds is real quick. I would have perhaps took my time a bit more if I wasn't doing a video, but I don't want you to get bored watching me for too long. So that's the leeks done. I'm just setting these down on the floor. I just have a gravel floor in here, so I can just water straight onto the floor. Right, so these are the onions. I'm going to multi-sow these. Again, it's brought in and homemade compost down the middle line. Just, I can't wait, to be honest, to see how well or not well my homemade compost does. You spent all this time making it. It'd be good if it's okay. I mean, it'd be fine on the beds for mature plants. I'm just a bit worried it could be a bit strong for seedlings, but we'll see. It's a test. Seeds don't cost much, so it's not too much of a waste if they don't come, if it's a bit too strong. So I think these onions are, again, I'll try and do on a drip to land straight on the seeds. Try and do about 3 or 4 per pot. This rain is getting really annoying. It's dripping all around me. The joys of a cheap polytunnel. I lost a lot of my onions last year. I multi-sowed them into pots and they all came up fine in here. Started germinating them at home, then brought them down here. Just in this tunnel. I did have my paraffin heater, my propane heater last year, but it was using about £30 of propane a week, and I just thought I can't be doing that. But as soon as I put them out, the weather was quite harsh, windy. I know I keep mentioning it about down here, but it is quite harsh. And so I fleeced them over. But what I found was fleeced, because it was so windy here, I didn't want to put the fleece too tight, because that would flatten the little, when onions first come up, they look quite delicate. So I sort of left a little bit of flex in the fleece, but the wind, it was just like this all day, all night, and it just battered the hell out of them, and none of them, they didn't come back from it at all. So, you know, I'm going to try fleecing certain things, because it is the way forward, but I think I may have to do it with some little sticks. What I tried last year with another crop was I cut some hazel sticks from my coppice, about 1 foot long, and just put them in the ground, so they're about 8 inches out of the ground. And I bought myself a bag of ball pit, like for your kids, the ball pit plastic balls. I just got my knife and stuck my knife in the ball and just put them on top of the hazel rods. And that seemed to work to keep the fleece actually from touching them. I've got hoops as well, but the hoops obviously keep the fleece quite high. And I think the idea of fleece is to keep the warmth down by the plant, as basically touching it is ideal. But like I say, it just battered mine a little bit. But yeah, so I might try some pegs with some boars, just to keep the fleece just above them. If I can just do it that, and then bricks. You'll see when I'm doing any video in the veg garden, I've got lots of bricks everywhere, the paviour bricks. I was given a couple of 100 of those from a customer. So I'll just need to put them all the way down, really peg it down so that it's tight over the rods, and that should do it. So what I'm going to do is I'll get these watered, I'll get them loaded in the heated cold frame, and I'll just give you a quick show of how I've got that set up, and we're done. That's first seed sown. Raining now. So messed around with my cold frame a little bit. I managed to get some extra pots in, so I've stuck some canes up the top there that I can get half trays on. There are some holes in the side because there's no crossbars at the top, so I put some canes in there, and they're perfect for fitting half trays. And it's 3 trays per rack. And what I did with the paraffin heater was I hung the top of the T-bar by some wire from the shelf here, so I haven't got the chimney bit, but the heat just comes up and this just helps to disperse it a little bit. I could probably squeeze another couple of trays down there, but obviously the heat's going to be up, so I can get 9 trays and about 3 half trays up the top there. So yeah, that's full up now, and I'm going to put my temperature thing in there. It's only 11.2 at the moment, so I'll stick this, well, perhaps put it up there, but so I can just see what sort of temperature it holds overnight. Paraffin heaters can be a little bit temperamental. You have to kind of leave them going for a few hours and just watch them while you're down here, because it will go from being low to suddenly being high and giving off loads of soot. So you have to just lower it, not too much, tiny bit, and then it would slowly reduce down over 10 or 20 minutes. And then you may have to adjust it a bit more, just every few minutes. Don't do it too much each way, because it'll end up going out or giving off too much soot. A bit of a pain in the arse, to be honest. I have got this paraffin heater here with a thermostat, but it's not particularly reliable. It blew out or just went out many times when I was trying to get it to work last year, and it just absolutely canes the fuel. In a small thing like this, I mean, to be honest, it's probably too small for it. I think it's designed for bigger spaces, but I just wasn't happy with it. I was given that by a customer. It does work, but it's just not very reliable, and the thermostat's not great. So paraffin, it's either on or off, and I've kind of got it set just on a very low flame. I don't know if you can see that. Very low flame. In fact, I may just turn it up ever so slightly. Clockwise to go up and clockwise to go down. Just a tiny turn, a couple of millimeters at a time, and then check it. Otherwise, you'll find that you'll come down and it should just be full of soot. I did that a couple of times when I was playing with it this morning. But yeah, so that's the first seeds sown. Obviously, once these have germinated, I'll bring them out into the polytunnel here, because they should be cold hardy within here. They're not going to get the wind and that so much. They should be tolerant enough to come out onto the pallet tables that I've got here, and then I can sow more stuff and get it in here. This is just really taken away any sort of hassle of having to do things at home. I'll get moaned at like a lot of blokes if I put things on all the windowsills. So, you know, for a peaceful life, I'm just trying to get it sorted so I can do stuff down here. But yeah, I'll do a video to show how successful it's been and whether my homemade compost has worked as well. Hopefully you'll find that interesting if you're making your own homemade compost for seed germination. But yeah, please remember to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the videos, and we'll see you next time, guys. Cheers, bye.